If you were a quarterback needy team, then the 2021 NFL Draft, it had a plethora of options. It was an oasis, paradise even. If you waited until 2022, then not so much. But we're not here to talk about this past year's draft. We're here to talk about the 2021 NFL Draft, more specifically each team's draft class. We're going to take a look at how they did, and we're going to throw some new grades while reflecting back at, well, the grades I gave them at the time. What's crack-a-lacking? It's your boy, Bro Schmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love having that nice, beautiful football discourse with you. We're going to be looking specifically at each draft class. I'm not going to count UDFAs because there were some good ones this well, I guess back in 2021. There were some good ones, but we're going to solely look at with what they had, what they drafted. I'm not going to look at the trades that we had a lot of guys acquire, like Orlando Brown and such. I'm just going to look specifically at the guys that they picked. I'm going to throw a grade on it. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the nitty gritty. We're going in alphabetical order because it's easier that way, I suppose. And we're going to start with, I believe it's Arizona. We're going to take a look at their class. Not a big class. Not a big class, but a class nonetheless. Initially, I gave this class an A. I thought the Xavier Collins pick, I think at the time I thought he was more of a end of the first round, but it is what it is. And just looking at this class in general, like I love the Tay Gowan pick, and he ends up getting traded. Like shoot, to the Eagles. Like, ugh. And in hindsight, like legitimately, I think only the top three guys saw significant playing time through the year, being Xavier Collins, Rondale Moore, and Marco Wilson. And Collins, I know during the offseason he had a DUI, so that wasn't great. And then he kind of like this, he kind of struggled initially, and he kind of found his groove later on. But Marco Wilson, I'm telling y'all guys, man, he is a slot. He is a cornerback 4 on a roster. I don't think he should be. Initially, I don't think he should be a starter. He had his struggles there at Florida, so much so he was bad on the outside. They kicked him into the slot. He wasn't any better there. I get the upside with Wilson, but I'd be hesitant. Rondale Moore, oh man, I just wish he got utilized a bit more. Ha! What a pun. But looking back now, and I'm gonna be a bit more strict with grades. If you don't know, I'm not doing pluses, minuses. It's A, B, C, or D, and an F. We got a few Fs in this class. And I don't normally like throwing out Fs right after the draft. But hey, we're a year past that, man. I could throw on an F if I want to, but I won't. I'm gonna give them a D for this draft class. I mean, at the end of the day, man, I think this class, like Xavier Collins is what it is. He's a linebacker. The positional value on the defense is not that high. If anything, Marco Wilson kind of weighs more there. But then I just don't think his ceiling in the NFL is going to be that high. Rondale Moore, I hope he gets more involved in the offense. You got to imagine he does with Christian Kirk gone. So, yeah, I guess we'll see this year, but I gave it a D. Let's go ahead, hit the home key. We're going to the Atlanta Falcons. And let's take a look at their class. Best known for Kyle Pitts. By the way, I'm looking at this on PFF. So you see 20 New York Jets. That's not me. I didn't give them 20. I didn't rank them 20 out of 32. But initially for this draft class, the Atlanta Falcons, I gave it an A. I really liked the Richie Grant pickup. Though I think he just barely played under 300 snaps, and a majority of them were all in the slot. I didn't like that. I think you could play him at either the two safety spots. Obviously, Jalen Mayfield had a terrible rookie year. Maybe they move him back over to the right side. Maybe right tackle is what I'm thinking. Or maybe he takes a big jump, but as of now, it didn't look good. Kyle Pitts, honestly, best guy in this class, hands down. And you could argue that the positional value of a tight end isn't that great. You could have got Jamar Chase. You kind of got a quarterback because Fields and Mac Jones were still on the board. There were other options. Speaking of some of the other guys I saw playing time, I think Darren Hall actually had more snaps than Richie Grant this past year, but he didn't do much with that. The other guy, like Frank Darby, saw a little bit of playing time, but not much. But Okadenji actually was probably outside of Fowler, their best pass rusher. That's not saying much. So if anything, he's probably a rotation guy. Graham left a lot to be desired. Like this class, outside of Kyle Pitts right now, does not look good. And even then, you could argue Kyle Pitts at 4 was not the correct choice. By the way, if you didn't know, we're going to do a redraft with this in a couple of days. So be here to check that out. What is the grade? It's a D. Like I said, Kyle Pitts is the only thing saving this class right now. The only thing. Looking back, I thought this was a bad draft class, and I kind of shocked I gave it an A. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, here it gets a D. Let's go back up. We're going to the Baltimore Ravens. Take a look at their draft class, and I gave it a B+, and I'm gonna stick with that grade. I'm gonna stick with a B. And let's kind of go into a little bit of the specifics here. Obviously, Shaun Wade, I believe, got traded before the season even started to the Patriots. Among those day 3 guys, I think Tylan Wallace may have seen the most snaps. I know Hayes saw a few, but like we're talking maybe double digits at best. But it was really about the top 4 guys. Brandon Stevens, because of injury, was thrown into the starting lineup, and he did about as well as you would think a 3rd-round rookie would do. And he struggled. I mean, so much so they list him as corner here, but he was more of the slot box guy. They even played him deep quite a bit too, because again, they like having 3 safeties on the field. But his play wasn't like inspiring. But again, 3rd-round rookie, picked at 104. I didn't think it was horrible. Ben Cleveland, he had his ups and downs. I think he only had, 400 snaps, though? Last season? Let me go confirm real quick. And here it is. Just under 400. And I thought he was fine. Odafe Oweh, obviously kind of like the crown jewel, came out and was probably, though I think he only had 5 or 6 sacks, like he led this whole rookie class in pressures. So like you're like, oh great, we hit on that. Rashad Bateman got into the lineup a little late, but like instantly was their best receiver. Like Bateman was great. So like I think Bateman Oweh instantly like, okay, we got some guys here. Ben Cleveland leaves a little bit to like, okay, maybe he could be a starter potentially. Excuse me. And then Brandon Stevens looks like he's at least gonna be a depth guy. The rest of the class, they're day 3 guys, so it's like is what it is. But overall, I didn't mind this draft class one bit. All right, let's go back to the top. This time we're going to the Buffalo Bills, I believe. Buffalo Bills. Here's their draft class. All right. Initially, I gave this class a B. Gregory Rousseau looked pretty darn good. A lot of us kind of fell off the bandwagon with him because of how he tested out, but he looked pretty good. He was, I think, easily their best rookie. We had Boogie Basham. Outside, like he got hurt, but in a small sample size, I thought he looked pretty darn good too. Spencer Brown looked better down the stretch, even though he was god awful in the the divisional round where they faced the Chiefs. But it looked like he was starting to get his foot in at right tackle down the line during the season. Tommy Doyle didn't see much time. Marquez Stevenson was actually pretty good in terms of a return man. And the rest of the guys there, like Hamlin, I think saw the most snaps. I don't even think we saw Anderson or Wild Goose during the year. But overall, I thought this looks like a promising class, bigger sample size. Going into next year, I think this could be an A. I'm going to give it a B for now. I'm going to stick with my grade that I initially gave it. Like Rousseau and Basham look like they could be a very good duo. If you throw someone else, obviously they got Von Miller, so it's like you got a really sick pass rush rotation there. Spencer Brown, does he take that next step and become more of a solid starter? And I really like Stevenson in terms of what he brings as a return man. So, yeah, no, I thought they did good. On to the top. Let's take a gander. I think it's the Panthers next. Yes, it is. All right. Initially, I gave this class a C. Ooh, I did not like this class, did I? No, I gave it an A. My bad. Because I'm giving it a C now. Ha! Obviously, J.C. Horn got hurt. It's hard to judge. But they did pick a lot of guys I liked. Just with someone like Tommy Tremble, they didn't know really what to do with him. And he had a very minimal use, though I think that might be more, he might have more of a role going forward. Terrace Marshall had a hard time seeing the field at all. So, yeah, not so great. Brady Christensen sounds like he's probably going to be, is he their left tackle? Is he their left guard? I don't know. We'll find out. What we saw, though, doesn't tell me that he's their tackle of the future, but there's still something there to like. Chuba Hubbard. All right, man, I miss saying Bubba Hubbard. He actually was pretty good when CMC went down. Nixon didn't see the field much. Keith Taylor actually saw a good amount of playing time and actually played pretty darn well. So, which led to, I assume, why they didn't bring back Stephon Gilmore. So now they have a pretty good cornerback group there, hopefully going forward with Taylor, with Horn. They got CJ Henderson. They have Dante Jackson. So there's a lot to be encouraged there. I believe for the most part that was actually it with this class. So it's like there's a lot to be encouraged about. It's just we just didn't see good play from really anybody. Like, again, Taylor was fine. Hubbard was good, but again, it's a running back position, probably the least valuable position on offense. Christensen's like you're hoping he takes the next step, whatever position he ends up playing. Marshall, you hope maybe emerges as something in this offense. And then Horn, you hopefully he comes back. So I gave it a C. All right, where to next? All right, Cincinnati. Oh, I know I gave this an A, didn't I? I gave it I think I skipped Chicago. I'll go back to Chicago. I gave it a B, actually. Wow. Okay. I guess I didn't love all their picks, did I? No, I gave it an A. Okay, I'm giving it a B now, though. I wrote it in a confusing way. I can't tell what's the grade I gave him, what's the grade I'm giving him. I gave it a B. So I gave this class an A initially because I loved Jamar Chase. I liked Osai. Obviously, he got hurt, so we didn't see him. Cameron Sample actually stepped up and played pretty decent. Shelvin, we saw limited action. Same with Smith. Jackson Carman, you're kind of hoping maybe he emerges, and I assume he's going to be playing the left guard spot, as Kappa will play right guard, and then they got Terrace to play center, or Ted Karras. But there is that, okay, maybe he's a great depth piece kind of feeling. Really, it's Jamar Chase is making this class right now. Okay, we could talk about Evan McPherson because, if you don't know, now you know, I'm typically not a huge fan of drafting a kicker or a punter. You could get them as UDFAs or as free agents, and it works out just fine. But you know what? McPherson had one hell of a year. It's worth mentioning. He made a lot of big-time kicks for them. Some would say he made all kicks for them. But Chris Evans is actually a pretty good passing down back that they have there. So that was actually a pretty nice addition. But yeah, outside of McPherson and Chase, you got a lot of questions. Like Sample, I don't think he's going to be more than a rotation guy. Osai comes back healthy. Let's see how he does. What will his role be? So overall, I gave it a B. This with Chase, this class could easily be an A. We're just going to kind of have to wait and see. All right, let's go back up here, and now we can talk about the Bears, right? Oh no, they had the Bears here. Okay. All right, so I initially gave this an A+ because I loved the Justin Fields pickup, and I thought Tevin Jenkins was a first rounder, and they got him in the second. And looking back, obviously Jenkins didn't really get to play a lot, but Larry Borum really stepped up for that squad. Their day 3 picks, I feel like they hit well. Larry Borum, even if he doesn't end up being more than depth, like he played pretty well last year. And I believe that was at right tackle. Khalil Herbert, yo, they legit. Oh man, if they get to David Montgomery's at the end of his rookie contract, and they're like, yeah, no, we're gonna just stick with Herbert, I buy it. Herbert was, I think, my running back 5 or 6 in this draft. And then Thomas Graham, he didn't play till late, but dude looked like a monster in the slot. I thought he was going to go a lot higher than the 6th round. And the thing that saves this draft class for me is obviously the quarterback. They grabbed their franchise guy. Do we know that he's the franchise guy just yet? No, but they do need to surround him with more help. I am a big fan of Fields. I think Fields can take that next step. So whenever you get your franchise quarterback, or at least at this point, maybe franchise quarterback, I'm going to give it an A. So let's see how he does this season. Maybe we will reevaluate that going forward, but they got their franchise guy as of right now. They potentially have their tackle duo of the future. If not, hopefully one of them hits with Jenkins or Borum. Herbert, I think, allows them not to have to re-sign Montgomery, and then Graham was just phenomenal. I thought the Bears did very good. All right, on to the next. And who be the next? The Cleveland Browns. Ooh, this was actually a pretty good class too, wasn't it? All right, looking at the Cleveland Browns, I gave it an A+. JOK really helped this class because he was a first rounder to me. So Greg Newsome was a monster his first year. JOK proved, hey, this whole false flag of a heart condition I had, I'm going to make teams that passed on me pay for it. He did. I thought they hit on their first 2 picks. And then Anthony Schwartz, again, this is a guy, a track star playing receiver. And this is why we didn't see him down the line. It's just the case. It's just the cold hard truth. Outside of that, no one really got into the lineup much. Demetric Felton looks like an interesting maybe scat back slash more so slot guy that they have on the roster. But I ended up giving this a B. I think they hit on the first 2. And right now, what we've seen thus far, like James Hudson had some snaps this past year, but nothing to lead me to be like, oh yeah, man, he's a guy of the future that's going to be a starter. Like right now, it's like, yeah, no, he looks like he's a guy that's slowly being developed to hopefully be a starter. Excuse me. But Demetric Felton, they got him day 3. They hit on their first 2 picks. Overall solid. Overall pretty solid. All right. On to the Denver Broncos. I initially probably gave this class an A+. No, I gave it an A. Oh, no, I gave it a B+. Okay, well, I'm going to give it an A right now because Patrick Surtain, they hit. Javonte Williams, they hit. Quentin Miners, he had to come in because of injury. They hit. Baron Browning, he's moving back to edge, reportedly. Him and Jonathan Cooper, that's great depth. Like Cooper actually low-key had a really good year last year. They hit. Caden Stearns got playing time, I'll say that. Jamar Johnson, who was one of my, I guess, my sleepers. I had a 2nd round grade on him. He didn't really see a lot of playing time. Pretty sure Kerry Vincent's playing in Philadelphia now. So there is that. But they were able to get potential cornerback 1. They got a running back of the future, guy that could legit just give the ball to this cat and just let him run wild. They have 2 very good pass rushers. Pair up with all what they got. Gregory, Chubb comes back healthy, and then Stearns is good depth, maybe good replacement starter. So yeah, no, this is a good class, man. I thought the Broncos did exceptionally well. All right, let's go back up. Now we're going over the Dallas Cowboys. All right, Dallas Cowboys. I gave them a C+. I hated this class. And it's not hard to see why. I thought they made some questionable picks on day 2. Because I know I liked the Jabril Cox pick. I know I liked Osa Odighizuwa. Chauncey Golston, it was probably a bit early for me. Kelvin Joseph, I just couldn't really get sold on. And obviously now with him, like, potentially, I don't know what, like, he was dealt in some sort of off-field issue just not too long ago, just maybe a month ago. So I don't know what will happen with that. I didn't think Nahshon Wright didn't see the field. I had him as a 7th rounder / UDFA, and he gets drafted in the 3rd. Thought that was a reach, but I guess we should talk about Micah Parsons, because holy cannoli, did they hit? And was my pick for Defensive Player of the Year. I think we're going to do those videos this week. My predictions for my top 10 candidates for Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year. But I hit on Micah Parsons. I feel like that was kind of easy one, though. But yeah, no, Parsons was good. Osa Odighizuwa, he showed it to be a very good penetrator. They really do need more meat in the middle. And Quinton Bohanna looks more like a rotation guy as their meaty, maybe run stuffer. But even with that, Golston did play some time, but again, probably a rotation role. At the end of the day, though, man, they probably got the best defensive player in this class. I gave it a B. I think that's about right. Even with guys like Wright and Joseph to hold this class down, I thought it was still particularly well. And to be fair, Micah Parsons is really putting a lot of, like, he has the weight, like the weight of this class on the back of his shoulders. And we could talk about Jabril Cox as well, because he played maybe like literally a handful of snaps before getting injured, and I thought there was a bit of promise there with him. So be on the lookout for him going forward. Be on the look. All right, I believe it's on to the Detroit Lions. Here we go. Let's look at their class. There's their class. I gave this class an A, and I think I'm going to stick with that grade. I thought they did a good job. Penei Sewell, phenomenal, man. He had a rocky start at right tackle, and then he moved to left because of injury, moved back to right, and actually played great. I think between Onwuzurike and McNeil showed more promise. To be fair, both of them play very different roles, but I think you're gonna at least hit on one of those guys, if not both. Ifeatu Melifonwu got hurt, but he showed a bit of promise early on, and probably like the prized sleeper in this class is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, this cat had 900 yards and was a legit receiving threat who could play on the outside or in the slot. So yeah, I thought they did good there. Derek Barnes, a guy that they're slowly developing. If you remember back at Purdue, he used to be an edge rusher, moved to like a more traditional linebacker role. So he's still like learning. He's still a work in progress in that regard, but still, like, he got the snaps, he got the playing time. I think he'll get better from here, but overall, you just look, there's no real misses in this class, really. Like, Jefferson, like, it's a 7th round running back. I don't care. So yeah, no, I thought Detroit did very well. All right, where to next? The Green Bay Packers, you say? All right, this class is interesting. I'll say that. All right, I gave this class a C+. Eric Stokes actually played pretty darn well as the season went forward, and now they have a very good cornerback room with Jair Alexander and Rasul Douglas with Eric Stokes. Josh Myers got hurt early, but they might have something there at center. Amari Rodgers hardly saw the field. How did he help your special teams? He didn't. He had probably the worst special teams unit in the NFL. But Royce Newman saw significant playing time, and I think they at least have a good depth option, if not maybe average starter there. But outside of that, there's really nothing to talk about from the rest of this class. There really isn't, and I ended up giving it a C. I'm going to stick by that C+. I'm going to give it a C. That feels about right. Like, Eric Stokes, I think, is a big hit, a big good, like, in a good way. And then Josh Myers, hopefully he comes back healthy and he plays well. I mean, of course, you're gonna see parallels between Myers and Creed Humphrey, since Myers was taken before Humphrey. So there will be that parallel, but I think at the end of the day, this class could maybe drop to a C if really Stokes ends up being the only sure thing they had in here. But still, I think it's average. All right, we're going to go back up here. We're going to move on to the Houston Texans, who really didn't have picks. Yeah, they had 2 third-rounders and then just like 3 day 3 picks. But to be fair, they saw actually a lot of playing time out of Roy Lopez, though it wasn't like all that encouraging. Brevin Jordan, in a small sample size, actually looked pretty darn good. I was actually surprised he was there in the 5th. Nico Collins played pretty darn well. He's going to be their receiver with size. Davis Mills, though, being one of the better rookie quarterbacks this past season. I gave this class a B- simply because they didn't have a lot of picks. And with the picks that they had, I thought they did an all right job with. I'm going to stick by a B because the verdict came out on Davis Mills. So that could turn around. They got some weapons, which I like. And I mean, again, Roy Lopez is worth mentioning. Like, he saw a lot of playing time. But yeah, no, like, we could definitely see this class go down a lot. But for what they had, those 5 picks, I thought they used them very well. So yeah, I think B grade for now. Maybe it could end up being a C. It really depends on Davis Mills. Really depends on you, Davis. Really depends on you. All right, we're going to go to the Indianapolis Colts. And I gave this a B-. And let's just say I'm not going to be as kind as I was then. Because, oh boy. Kwity Paye feels like the only guy they've hit on. To be fair, Deo Odeyingbo was hurt. Last year was kind of a wash for him. Kyle Granson, yeah, he actually saw some playing time. It wasn't too bad. Sam Ehlinger, like, let's be honest, that dude's a backup quarterback, and they drafted him in the 6th, which is the backup quarterback area. But they saw nothing out of the rest of the rookies. Sean Davis, Michael Strachan, the University of Charles cat. Will Fries, I think, saw like maybe 200 snaps. I'm not positive because they had to wait for Eric Fisher to come back healthy. But yeah, really, this class is Kwity Paye, and that's it. He was the first edge taken off the board, which I don't blame him. That's good size. I gave it a D. Right now, this class don't look so hot. We'll see with Deo how that works out. But Granson, I see nothing more as a tight end 2. And to be fair, they ended up taking Jelani Woods. They have Mo Alley Cox, right? And to be fair, I don't see the rest of this class right here panning out. So looking back, I just don't like it. I just don't. All right, let's take a look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we could probably fly by the Jags on this one because I gave it an A then. I'm going to give it an A now. Trevor Lawrence, quarterback of the future. Again, we'll see, but it was a good pick. Travis Etienne. I didn't like the pick at the time. I thought I was shocked that they took run back considering how well they did with James Robinson. Etienne was hurt, so he didn't really get to play out the year. We'll see how they use him here in this next season, but He was a first rounder. But Tyson Campbell really, I thought, played decently well. Played a little bit in the slot. Kicked him to the outside as the season went long. Andre Sisco finally seeing playing time at the end of the year. Looked solid. Walker Little, I kind of hoping maybe he emerges at one of those tackle spots. But when he wasn't, because I think it was Cam Robinson went down, he looked all right. Jordan Smith was the only guy I think saw a little bit of playing time. Maybe Luke Farrell, but I think it was Smith. But even then, it's kind of like, is what it is. Really, Sisco, Walker Little, Campbell all look like they're going to be maybe pretty solid picks. Etienne, we'll find out this year, but I was a big fan of Travis Etienne. And then obviously they got their franchise quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. All right, let's move this sucker back up. And we're going to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. If you remember, they had the Orlando Brown trade. Where are you at? Right here. They had the Orlando Brown trade, so they didn't have a first rounder, but they had 2 second rounders, and boy, did they use them and use them well. Nick Bolton looks like he's going to be at least a very good early 2-down run stuffer. He looked solid. Creed Humphrey was one of the better centers in all of football last year. I gave this class initially an A. Noah Gray saw a little bit of playing time, but obviously that's a guy that they'll probably look to upgrade from in the future. Cornell Powell, I don't even think saw the field at all. Joshua Kaindow hardly saw the field, but Trey Smith, kind of like we literally hit it out of the park where we got Humphrey and Smith. We shored up 2 of our offensive line spots after already investing in the offseason in Orlando Brown and Joe Thuney. So I ended up giving it a B. And you might be like, what? They did so well. It's like, yeah, they did well, but the positions they hit on aren't necessarily positions of value. Like linebacker is one of the less valuable spots on a roster. To be fair, it's also one of the hardest spots to get right on an NFL roster. And the offensive line, it's not like these guys were tackles, right? Tackle holds a lot of weight when it comes to guard and center. They tend to be they're up there with running back. I would say center is a bit more important. So Creed Humphrey, they did a good job. They hit on at least 3 of their picks. We'll find out with Kaindow. I think Kaindow might be a guy to watch out for this year. If he develops, I really think there might be something there. But overall, I thought it was a pretty darn good class for the Chiefs. All right. On to the Las Vegas Raiders. And I initially gave this class a C+, because we all know Alex Leatherwood. Ha ha, he he. Oh, look. They thought they got a right tackle, instead they got a guard. And even there, you gotta hope that guy's play steps up at some point. Like, you just gotta hope. But you look at this, Trevon Merrick, great pickup. He was my top safety going to the draft. And to be fair, Javon Holland ended up being so far the best safety, at least initially. That's what it looks like it is right now. Best safety in the class. But Merrick was pretty darn good. Kuntz was actually pretty good in limited playing time when he saw the field. Divine, I always mess up his name. I'm going to say Diablo. Was actually played linebacker down the stretch. It was pretty darn good. So they got something there. And honestly, Nate Hobbs, he was one of the better slot corners in the whole league. So this class, I think, is a lot better than people are giving it credit for. I ended up giving this, I think, a B, right? I put a B up there. Yeah, B. Like Leatherwood, you hope he maybe takes the next step. I think at guard, it'll be a lot. He might take that next step. Hopefully, you hope that's the case. Merrick hit. Kuntz, honestly, as a rotation guy, I like that a lot. Diablo, I think he's solid at linebacker. Even Gillespie. I'm really terrible with names. The cat out of Mizzou. He saw a little bit of playing time this past year, but Hobbs was a big hit. So, yeah, I gave it a B. I think this class is better than. I know we like to clown the Raiders, but this class was better than what we initially thought it would be. Especially Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs was a guy I didn't even check out going into the draft, and I was like, oh man, I didn't even watch this cat play, and ends up being probably I would say the second best slot corner from this draft class. Like Thomas Graham's close, and for me Elijah Molden was just wonderful. And then we're gonna go to the Los Angeles Superchargers, and I loved this class. I gave it an A after the draft, because Josh Palmer was like my guy. Santi Samuel Jr. I liked a lot. I had him as a fringe first rounder. Rashawn Slater, for me, Rashawn Slater was his evaluation. I liked the cat a lot. He was one of my dark horses coming into the year. I think he ended up opting out, so I was like, that might hurt him a bit for me. So I knocked him down a few pegs, and I think I had him in like the 15 to 20 range. And then suddenly, like in I think October or November, you started seeing him in like the top 10 of first rounds. And I was like, sometimes going ahead of Sewell. And I was like, what the hell? What just happened? So I was like, I like that guy. Him and Christian Darrisaw actually were two guys I liked going into the year that emerged. So I was like, hey, look, I'm feeling better about evaluating offensive line. If you don't know that, for me, it's one of my toughest evaluations, because it's a position I'm still growing or still learning a bit more of, learning how to evaluate it. But Palmer didn't really see time till down the stretch. Sonny Samuel Jr., whether it was on the outside or the in the slot, like he had an okay year. He performed as you'd expect from a rookie. To be fair, actually, Chris Rumpf, when he had playing time, wasn't a lot. Like he was all right. Larry Roundtree, there's a reason why they took Isaiah Spiller in the 4th round. I'm just gonna say that. But I gave this a B for now, and you might be like, oh man, but they did so well. It's like, I want to see more from Palmer. Let's see what happens here in year 2. Samuel needs to take let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. His play was very so-so. He needs to take a step up in terms of production. Slater was wonderful. But right now, he looks like the only guaranteed hit in this class that they got right. Also, watch for Nick Niemann out of Iowa. He played pretty well in limited playing time last year. Man, a lot of that was because of injury. Low key, I think he sees a lot of playing. I think he could probably be the starter this year. And just watch out, man. He's not half bad. He is not half bad. All right. And to be fair, if you're like, man, you're out here giving A's to teams like the Jags, listen, if you find your franchise quarterback, or at least as it stands now, maybe your franchise quarterback, I'm gonna give that an A. And I try not to just hand out A's out willy-nilly. So yeah. Let's go to the Los Angeles Rams, because holy crap. Oh man. I hated this class. It was one of my worst graded classes. I give it a C-. And even now looking back, I feel like I gave it too much credit. I'm giving it an F. That's right. I'm throwing the F out there. Tutu Atwell, he saw some time as a return man, but that's all he is. And he's a gadget player. This is I was saying this last year, and I said it this year. The NFL, more times than not, they just don't know how to use gadget players, and they just don't. They have a hard time scheming these guys, or at least doing it consistently. And Atwell, at his size, was going to be a guy you have to do that with. Now he's maybe a return man, and even then he was okay. Yeah, Ernest Jones, though, I thought was, I didn't like the pick at the time, but I like it a lot better now. He's probably the best guy in their class as it stands. Funk saw a little time. Skorodic, I know, saw a little time. Robert Rochelle, he might, if he emerges into something, maybe they got something there. He saw actually a lot of playing time last year, more so than I thought he would, but at the end of the day, it looks like this class will only produce Ernest Jones. And even then, it's not like his play was so much to blow me away. And again, we talked about linebacker being one of the less valuable positions on defense. So yeah, Bobby Brown hardly saw the field. Yeah, for me, this class is no bueno. All right. On to... Oh, my Miami Dolphins. Yeah, let's reevaluate. I'm a Dolphins fan if you didn't know. If you didn't know, now you know. Oh, man. Jalen Waddle, man. I was a little hesitant of the pick because of Pinisul. Initially, I gave this draft class a B. And the Waddle pick, I was like, man, we should have got offensive line. I still kind of... I stand by it a little bit because Waddle's amazing. I loved Waddle going into this draft process as well. But, like, man, if we were able to shore up that tackle spot, I mean, now we got Armstead as long as he can stay healthy. But, yeah, like, I'm a little skeptical about that. Phillips looks like he's going to be pretty darn good. He had 10 sacks this past season. Javon Holland looks like a freaking star. Liam Eichenberg leaves a bit to be desired. I really think they should move him to guard. If that happens, I guess we'll see. Hunter Long, yeah, good luck. I don't know if that cat's gonna see the field at all. But I gave it an A, man. They hit on Waddle, they hit on Phillips, they hit on Holland. Like, you can make a case that at least 2 of those 3 guys are gonna be like Pro Bowl players. With Phillips, man, as long as he can stay consistent, like, he's gonna be that too. So they hit on their first 3 picks, and they're going to be legit game changers. So, yeah, big fan. Hopefully this, the Dolphins had, all of 4 picks this past year, so it is what it is. To be fair, we spent the first 2 on Tyreek Hill. I ain't mad about that. To the Minnesota Vikings, I gave their class an A-. Take a wild guess right now. What do you think I'm going to give this class? Because if you're thinking I'm going to give them the D, you're absolutely right. I'm giving them the D. Christian Darrisaw might be the only guy they hit on in this whole class. Wyatt Davis couldn't even see the field. Okay, to be fair, Nwangwu, I'm terrible with names, by the way. The backup running back there at Iowa State, he was backup because Breece Hall was there. Ended up being a hell of a return man. I think he had 2 kick returns for TDs. Cameron Bynum, though, like, we're going to probably see more of him this year, but converted to safety might be pretty darn solid. Outside of that, we ain't talking much. Like, Amir Smith-Marsetti, he had, like 5 receptions all year. To be fair, 2 of them were for touchdowns. I don't know if he gets used more, though, this year. We'll see. Chaz Surratt, Patrick Jones. I didn't like either of the Pittsburgh guys. Patrick Jones wasn't that good. Twyman, I don't even know if he saw the field or if he's on the roster. I imagine he's on the roster. And then Kellen Mond. It's a new regime there. There's no one currently in Vikings management that is tied to Kellen Mond. Sorry, Kellen Mond. So I don't even know if Mike Zimmer was tied to Kellen Mond. So right now it looks like that they hit on a return man, and they maybe, to be fair, Darrisaw played pretty darn well when he was able to get healthy. So they hit on left tackle. That's fine, but with how many picks they had, you couldn't hit on anything else. Like, Bynum might be good, or he might end up being a replacement starter. We're gonna see more of him this year. We'll find out. So yeah, I feel like for all the picks that they had, you would wish they maybe hit on a few others, at least guys that would have more significant roles. Like, legit, looking at the guys who played, you had Darrisaw. Jones played, but he wasn't that good. Bynum played, was pretty good. Like I said, with Smith-Marsetti, he barely saw the field, but again, 2 touchdowns. But yeah, I mean, looking back, I'm not too big of a fan of this class. All right, on to the New England Patriots, and we all, you heard me saying it. If you get your franchise quarterback, you're gonna get an A. While I don't think Mac Jones has the best upside, you can't deny. He didn't sink that team. And I think he's gonna be solid. I think he's gonna be a guy that's gonna be at least a top 15 quarterback in the league. Christian Barmore should have never fell to the second round. they hit on that. I don't think we saw Ronnie Perkins. I don't know if he got hurt or anything. But Ramondre Stevenson. I don't know why they drafted 2 more running backs this year. But Stevenson showed that, hey, he could be a part of the rotation. And if, like, Damian Harris goes down, he could take the load. So I thought they hit on 3 of their first 4 picks. One of them being quarterback and the other actually being pretty good as a pass rusher. And a guy that's probably going to see a lot more playing time going forward. So overall, yeah, good class. What did I give it? Oh, I gave it an A too. Nice. All right, let's go back up here. We're going to the New Orleans Saints. I gave it a C+ after the draft. And oh, you know what? Looking at this class now, I think that C grade is about right. Peyton Turner, we'll see maybe more of him this year. I don't know. I mean, we saw a little bit of him last year because Marcus Davenport went down. But kind of is what it is. He's going to be part of the rotation, so that's all right. Pete Werner might be their best pick. Paulson Adebo. Ooh, man, they brought back Bradley Roby. I don't know if Adebo even will have a starting job. Ian Book, that was a waste. They literally set that 4th round pick on fire. Just saying. But Adebo, if anything, is going to be good depth with cornerback 2 upside. But looking at this, it's like, okay, out of starters, they got a linebacker. I mean, to be fair, I think they probably hit on their first 3 picks. Peyton Turner, we're going to have to see more of, but he was pretty effective when in the lineup. But yeah, we're going to have to see more of it. But overall, I thought it was a pretty average class. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. All right, scrolling back up. We're going to the New York Giants. And I initially gave this class after the draft, I gave it a B+. And I'm giving it a D right now. Kadarius Toney, so much, he did so well. To be fair, like when they got the ball in his hands, he was pretty darn good. But he did so well that he was talked about being traded. So I was like, oh, okay. Azeez Ojulari looks pretty solid. I'm glad now they pair him up with Kayvon Thibodeau. Watch out for that in the future. Aaron Robinson's a guy that I felt like was more of a slot player, though they're going to be playing him on the outside as they did this year. And I think he played maybe 200 snaps. It was okay. But they legit didn't, like, that was it. That was the class. Rondarius Williams, he's depth. Ellerson Smith, depth. At best, is what I'm saying. Depth at best. Aaron Robinson, well, I guess now that James Bradbury's not there, maybe we see more Aaron Robinson. But I guess we'll see. Like, as it stands now, Ojulari is the only guy they hit on, and he's probably not an edge 1. That's why they bring in Kayvon Thibodeau. So, yeah, not a huge fan of this class. All right, we're going to go to the Jets. And the Jets, I gave an A+ to. And holy moly, they did it. They got a franchise quarterback. You know it's getting an A. Elijah Vera Tucker, start of the year rough, but actually played very well during the last 3/4 of the season. Elijah Moore was looking real good till he got hurt and showed he was capable of playing either in the slot or on the outside. Michael Carter, now that they have Breece Hall there, they have a scary running back duo there. They really got nothing from the guys that listed at safety, like Jamian Sherwood and Nazar Ildeen. Both are converted linebackers, and they didn't really do that good of a job. They actually didn't even see a lot of playing time. Michael Carter was actually a pretty good slot player. You could say the same. Brandon Equals, I think, is going to be a good sub-package corner in the league. They played him a lot on the outside, but now that they brought in Sauce, they brought in DJ Reed, they have Breece Hall, I think Equals now is going to take that role as a sub-package guy you play in dime packages. Jason Pinnock moved to safety and actually played pretty darn, not terrible, pretty good. So Pinnock was one of my sleepers in this past class too. So again, verdict's out on Wilson, but they're probably going to hit on Tucker more. Carter's going to be a good change of pace back. And then the other Michael Carter is going to be a good sub-package slot guy. So, yeah, no, it's a good class. Good class. All right, Philadelphia Eagles. I gave it an A+ at the time. Let's see why. Because this was where they traded up and got Devontae Smith. Okay. Landon Dickerson saw some playing time this year. He might be either he's going to be playing guard or he's the heir apparent center. It really doesn't matter. Milton Williams is a very versatile guy. They played him on the outside, they played him on the inside. He was kind of so-so. Zach McPherson didn't really see the field a ton. Kenneth Gainwell ended up being a really nice change of pace back. And low-key, Taron Jackson and Patrick Johnson, when they were on the field, were pretty darn good, especially Taron Jackson. So, like, not too bad depth. I'm gonna stick with that A because I think they hit on Smith. They hit on Dickerson. Milton Williams, we'll see. I don't know if he's going to be more than a very versatile rotation player. McPherson, I don't think they believe in McPherson. I mean, Gainwell's a nice change of pace back. And then Jackson and Johnson, I think, are good sub-package guys. So I thought they did good. All right, let's move on to the last part of this with the Pittsburgh Steelers, because this is an indifferent one for me. What did I give it? I gave it a B-, just because they didn't hit positions of value. Running back, tight end, you can make a case as like low-key, like he is a receiving threat. Like Pat Freiermuth was pretty solid last year. So was Najee Harris, but again, a lot of that depends on what is the makeup of your offensive line, and they tried to plug in guys like Kendrick Green and Dan Moore, and it didn't solve the issue. It just didn't. Like Kendrick Green, a lot of people are turning on him. Dan Moore, I had this guy, like I think he was somewhere outside of my top 300. They took him in the 4th, and I really think he might end up being maybe a depth guy. I really do. Loudermilk actually saw some playing time. I think he's a good rotation guy. Trey Norwood, I believe, also saw the field a little bit, but another guy that's more of a depth piece. They got a punter in the 7th. Don't mind that. It is what it is. Would have helped if he was played a little bit better, but hey, man, we'll see. But overall, I think I'm gonna stick with the B grade. It's honestly, it's fringe C. Like if Dan Moore or Kendrick Green could take the next step, then that would help this class stay as a B. But you go running back in the 1st round, knowing just running back is a very hitter. It's a position you could hit on day 3 or even UDFA. Like you could get by with a very good committee of backs. So Freiermuth, he's good, but yeah, like this one was like C+, borderline B, but I think it's just enough to keep it at a B right now. All right, San Francisco 49ers, I gave their draft class a B+ at the time. And this is actually the one draft class where they technically got their franchise guy, but there's a lot of questions about it. This is the one draft class I didn't give an A to that got their franchise guy, because again, rumors, if they're rumors, take it with a grain of salt. That the coaching staff isn't too excited about how Trey Lance has progressed thus far. That's kind of is what it is. Maybe like if he hits A+ easy. Aaron Banks, for me, that was a reach. Didn't see a lot of playing time. Trey Sermon ended up, I think he started the year hurt and basically was eclipsed by Elijah Mitchell this past year, who they got in the 6th round. So it's like, what you doing there? But they hit on Mitchell. Like really, their day 3 was pretty good, because Hufanga looks like he's going to have a good role there in the defense. Diamador Lenoir looks pretty all right. Like, he's going to be a good depth piece at corner. Aubrey Thomas, he's probably going to be starting on the outside a lot more this year. So, like, I gave it a B. Man, like, their first 3 picks. Like, Trey Lance, you would think the franchise quarterback sets it over the top. But, again, that's kind of the question. Like, is he? And right now, maybe I'm buying a little bit into the rumors that they might not think that he is it. This one will be quick. It's the Seattle Seahawks. They had like 3 picks. Yep, 3 picks right here. Initially, I gave this class a C because I was like, yeah, they did what they could do with the picks. And now I'm going to give it an F, man. Stone Forsythe, I thought was good value, but he didn't see much of any playing time. Trey Brown actually saw a little bit of playing time, but he's an undersized corner playing on the outside. I think that's a big reason they really went with bigger guys this past year in the draft, and like Kobe Bryant and Tyreek Woolen. And Dwayne Eskridge, I thought that was just too high for him. And he got lost in the shuffle. Like, he started the year banged up, but he got lost in the wide receiver shuffle. This class did nothing. Quite literally, it did nothing. So yeah, I got an F. See, I gave out like, what, three Fs? I could be cold-hearted. I don't know what some of y'all are saying. All right, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I gave it a B+ at the time. And if we're going to be fair, we didn't see a lot from this rookie class outside of Joe Tryon. So I ended up giving it a D for now. Because Jalen Darden, he looks like they just see him as a return man. That is what it is. None of their other day 3 picks got really any snaps. Robert Hainsey looks like they just see him as very versatile replacement level starter. Kyle Trask, we have no idea. And Joe Tryon honestly looked all right. Looked all right, but outside of Tryon, man, this class is just a big question mark. And I mean, to be fair, the Bucs just won the Super Bowl that year, so they didn't have a lot of holes to fill. So they were just trying to grab players that really just gave them depth options. So, I mean, I'm not too mad at it. All right, Tennessee Titans, I gave it a B+ at the time. Let's look at it now. Caleb Farley obviously went down with injury. Elijah Molden was a big hit, probably their best player in this draft class. At least this past season. Racing McMath, man, he actually carved out a role on special teams for himself. Good for you. Rashad Weaver, watch out, man. He went down because of injury last year, but I think he could have a more substantial role in this next draft. Dylan Radunes, they threw him out there left tackle, opening his first game against freaking Nick Bosa. What you doing? So we'll see about his role. It looks like he's going to be a right tackle. Monty Rice didn't really do anything. So it's like, really, the only 2 guys that did something in this class this past year is Molden and McMath. One was special teams and the other is a slot guy. So yeah, you're not getting a lot. Looks like I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna give this a C. Caleb Farley, he will return this year. We'll see what they have in Farley. Keep in mind, the guy's got a lot of upside. You just worry about that injury history. Dylan Radins, we'll see what he can do at right tackle. So much so that they didn't bring back Quisenberry. So it's an interesting thought, and I really do think Weaver actually has a pretty good year this year. So I gave it a C. And then finally, the Washington football team. They're actually the next one here. I'll just scroll down. I gave this class an A initially, and looking back, I'm gonna give it a nice fat C. Jamin Davis, they had to literally give him less responsibilities so he could play a bit more reactive, as you could just see how hesitant he was there, trying to be that Mike linebacker. Samuel Cosme, I think, was the best player in this draft class. He got hurt, but it looks like he's their right tackle moving forward. Benjamin St. Juste looks like he's going to at least be a good depth option at corner.
De'Ami Brown, man, he got lost in the shuffle some way, somehow. Maybe with Sam Howell there now. Watch out. John Bates, he saw some time there as like tight end 2 and 3. So that wasn't too bad. Derek Force didn't see the field much. Low key, William Bradley Keene and Shaka Toney. Those two guys, they're only guys that are going to come in on sub packages, on passing downs, but they were very effective in that role. I'll just say that. Dak's line didn't really do much. I think he had as many yards as De'Ami Brown though. So woof. But yeah, I think a C is a fair grade for this. Leaves a lot to be desired, even though they probably hit on Cosme. You're kind of hoping maybe more from Davis and maybe more from Brown and St. Juice, but we'll see. But this video is long as hell, man. But that's it for the video. Come back for the redraft. Promise it'll be shorter. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.